Oh, Joffrey, we are not allowed to have this much fun. It's just
I know we have too much fun.
so. Welcome back to Leadership in the Raw, because leadership has changed to leadership, SHIFT, because we need to be changing every day. And my co-host is Joffrey Harris.
Good morning or good day. For
Good day.
some of you, it's good afternoon.
We don't know. So, and we want to deliver some high quality information to you. And by the way, if we're going to run through parts of this pretty rapidly, so if it's a little bit too fast to you, go back to the video, and it's clearly labeled number 1. This video is clearly labeled number 2. And we're using Carey Nieuwhof's tremendous ideas and tremendous research. You'll find a link below on how to connect with Carey. And Carey, we appreciate you. I'm not going to spell your name. You need to change it. You need to be Carey in. I have never spelled Nieuwhof the same way twice in a row. Never. So, but here.
I was just going to say thanks, Carey, for all of your good work.
Oh, it's tremendous work. You have many, many ambassadors. And actually, you now have Joffrey. Carey now has global ambassadors.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, he does.
So, but there are 3 leadership voices that work. The motivational voice. And right now, we're in the middle of a mess, a global mess. And the motivational voice has limitations. You know, you can be a cheerleader on the sidelines all you want, but if your team doesn't have the skill set, or it's the 4th quarter and you're behind by 20 touchdowns, it's just not going to work. And that's where we are. We're in the 4th quarter. We're behind by 20 touchdowns. The motivational voice, the only motivational voice I think that works today, Joffrey, is we will get through this together.
That's exactly right. That's the big question that people are asking is, how are we going to get through this?
And we don't know.
and when they hear, even though leaders don't have all the answers, when they hear them communicating positively and confidently that we are going to get through it together. And I don't know how many times on TV I've heard reporters or people say that, frontline people, doctors and nurses, it's tough, it's hard, it's sad sometimes, but we're going to get through this.
Well, and when you hear that motivational voice, a voice of reason and sense, one thing that's interesting that I've never seen in my lifetime, I've never had an experience like this ever, but when you hear that again and again, and leadership is bonding as a tribe, and they're changing their manufacture, they're changing everything in the pursuit of that one motivational voice saying, we'll get through this together. The second is interpretation, Joffrey, and that is, we want the facts, unfiltered, real, honest, regardless of how ugly and messy they are. The interpretation, and Joffrey, speak to that. We were talking early about our daily updates.
Well, everybody is trying to interpret what's happening to them. And they're listening to different voices. They're listening to a lot of voices on TV. There are reports there. They're listening to friends that they're talking to on the phone, family members. They're just trying to absorb and understand, what is happening. As you define what's happening, there's a global virus with no medical cure happening to us right now. It begins to help you understand what the nature of the problem is and process it. And we have as I've heard that and kind of thought about it for myself and my family, I've thought about as a leader, what do I need to do to help those I lead process and interpret what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and and at this point, if you want to lead, and leadership doesn't have a title. It doesn't have to have a title. You don't need to be the lead pastor in a church. You don't need to be a CEO. It's just when people look to you for answers, you're a leader. You don't
That's
need a
right.
business card. You don't need
That's right.
to have a title. But what they want is they want truth. They want authenticity, transparency. And guess what? What if today's information is different than yesterday? Tell them. Don't spin it.
Mm,
Don't color code it. Don't sugarcoat it or try to wrap it in candy and make it taste better. It's just like when you're talking to a grandchild, when I'm administering some medicine, I'm saying, here's the medicine and here's some water. That's going to be your chaser. The medicine tastes awful.
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie to you. It's like saying this shot won't hurt. Well, you know what? This shot is going to hurt.
That's right.
And then next time I can believe you. But we're going to chase this awful medicine with some water. That's real leadership, delivering data real time. I mean, church leaders, this
That's
is the
right.
time to say, and say it, hopefully you said it a week ago, be ready for your first digital Easter. And by the way, church leaders, I love church leaders that are putting it this way. While we're in this crisis, we still have light bills and we still feed the hungry. So if you're able to give, keep giving. That's authentic. That's transparent.
Mm, that's
And it
right.
may not be
That's
what
right.
they want to hear, but it doesn't matter what they want to hear.
That's right.
The,
That's right. And
and
and this is not only true here in the good old US of A, it's true around the world. This is a global pandemic.
yeah, the
And of course, part of our ministry is with international pastors and church leaders. They're having the same struggle. They're going into lockdown. They're trying to figure out how to communicate to their constituents, and they're trying to interpret what is happening, and how they can deal with it and how they can help those who trust them as leaders.
well, and one thing, and I want to say this without mentioning countries and putting anybody at risk, but I had two messages about 2 weeks ago saying, Alvin, this is how it will look. And then one message from a country in Africa where they're on total lockdown, meaning they can't leave their homes. They really have limited or no access to medical care or food. And as soon as I heard about, since that data was given to me directly and clearly and unfiltered, it gave me an opportunity immediately. I had some funds because I'm not going to Panera Bread anymore. And I immediately sent the funds to two separate leaders, two separate countries, because they gave me clear, unfiltered data. And it was pretty ugly and messy, but it was very clear in the way they delivered it is that the only way I can get to the grocery store is when the grocery store opens illegally and they only allow three
Yes.
people in at a time. And of course, I shared that with Joffrey and others, clear data that if we're going to give money or help, today's the day, not tomorrow, because they don't have access to go. And but that's the interpretation voice. Don't filter or spin the data to make us feel good. This is not a time to feel good. It's and then the
That's right.
transformation voice,
That's right.
Joffrey.
People are looking for the truth, and yeah, that's right. People, I was going to say to in that close that out. People are looking for the truth and the facts.
Yes,
Yeah, transformation.
and then
Uh, Transformation is about what is life going to look like after this crisis has passed. Uh, what is going to change? Um, all of us have different reactions to change, but there will be a new normal that's going to come out of this pandemic, this crisis that we're all going through right now. And so we're, as a leader, we want to help those who are following us think about that. How are and prepare for what are the changes that are going to happen.
well, and then be prepared as we are going.
That's right.
Transform. See, the new normal, no one that I know or would trust can define what the new normal is going to be. We don't know what we don't know,
That's
period.
right.
But we are seeing the beginnings of a new normal. For example, we will have something that is different but better. And let me give you a medical example. Is if you recall, you used to go to your doctor, you'd sit in a lobby for an hour and a half with 30 to 40 other sick people coughing, sneezing, and so on. That is the ultimate bad design for good health.
Mm.
Can anybody say an amen?
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
But as we transform into the new normal, we're changing that. We're doing digital medicine. We're going to be in a different era, but it will be better. I mean, I have to tell you I talked to 2 grandchildren yesterday, one age 10, one age 14, and we're talking about digital learning. They're learning on their computer or their tablet. And my one grandson, age 14, really surprised me. He said, I'm loving it. He said, Grandpa, what I do, well, his name is Lucas. I'll share his name because Lucas Nieves. I'm proud of you, man. He said, what I'm doing, Grandpa, I get up at 6 a.m. You know, I have flexibility. I do all my work. I do all my homework. And then the rest of the day, he's a real athlete. He's a premier athlete. He's an elite athlete. He said, I work out. The rest of the day, my brother and I play basketball and we have a routine. So that's him transforming immediately and embracing it. And then my 10-year-old grandson feels the same way. He said, Grandpa, he's saying, I love social studies and I'm loving it more on my computer than I loved it previously because there are more resources and better illustrations. That's actually, there's a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old that are leading you right now. They accepted and they transformed into whatever the new normal is. And the new normal is different, but it is better. The new normal is different, but it is better.
It sure is. I'll tell you my short story about that. In 2 weeks ago, I have 3 brothers. One of our brothers just passed, but I have 3 brothers who love each other, care about each other, but we've had very little personal contact because we live in different states and different parts of the U.S. And because of what's happening here, I had the chance to get to connect with each one of them and coach them in how to use video conferencing, Zoom. And last week, the 4 of us met online together for the first time. We're all over 60 years old. The oldest one's 80, I believe he's 83. Gary is 83.
I'm going to drink to that, Joffrey.
We got together online. We had an hour of quality time, no interruptions. Just the 4 of us, and we just got to reminisce. And after that was over, I got to thinking how much we missed Ron, our brother who's already gone to heaven. And I called the brothers and I said, hey, we need to do another one this week. And we need to just reminisce and celebrate Ron and remember him. So yesterday, the 4 of us got back online. We had a picture of Ron that began our session together, our personal experience and how Ron impacted our life. Now, it was really cool. I mean, I don't know if we would ever have had that opportunity if it hadn't have been for a pandemic. I don't know if we'd ever, I mean, I'm not saying that we want to have a pandemic to do that, but think about it. That change has connected me and my brothers in a way that never would have happened otherwise.
Well, but then, and Joffrey, you took the initiative to be the transformational voice there. In other words, you and I have been working with Zoom for about 6 months. And the learning curve, you're age 74, right?
That's right.
And the learning curve was rather steep and awkward and painful, but you transformed early. And then, of course, you're sharing your transformational voice with other people. And please just say yes to physical distancing, but say no, no, no to social distancing. This is the time where we need to be social. And even in the transfer, when you're leading, let's go back to our slide. When you're leading, it's appropriate to use the motivational voice, interpretation voice, transformational voice together all the time.
Yes.
They sync nicely. Again, thank you, Carey Nieuwhof.
You
But
bet.
the transformational voice, it's evolving. We don't
That's
know.
right.
We don't know the new normal. We will probably find a new term. We'll invent a new term for normal. And then along the way, we're realizing that social distancing was a bad term, physical distancing, a great idea,
Mm.
where we need to become more and more connected, and even social connection via some old school means. Like this week, I sent 5 encouragement cards through the U.S. Postal System, and I sent one to my mother-in-law who's in an apartment with some other elderly people. I think she's in her 90s, close to 100. And this business of social physical distancing has not served her very well, because she's usually on a bus to Las Vegas, and then from there to Nashville, and then from there to Disney World, and then from there to Canada. But she's
Mm.
really locked in. So this is the time to get out, and if you don't want to go to the store, go to Amazon Prime, buy some encouragement cards, go online, buy your postal stamps, pretty colorful commemorative stamps from the U.S. Postal Service online. That's what I've done. I have 3 sets. I have over 100 cards, and I'm writing 1 or 2 a day to connect with people. But to me, I don't know, maybe you're not impressed with that, but it's taking what we currently have and the limitations we currently have and transforming. I mean, I have a good friend who's a Pilates instructor, and she's in a stage of her life similar to us, but she's transforming her business and staying connected with clients via video. And for many people, it's not your comfort zone,
Mm.
but it doesn't matter what your comfort zone is. People, if you call yourself a leader, people want to see you leading. They definitely want that interpretation voice. What's the real world? What's the
Mhm.
real situation? Don't spin it, don't sugarcoat it. And if your facts from this morning to this afternoon change, change. I mean, our current leadership is a great example of daily updates with information. It's unfiltered, and it's not designed to be encouraging, but it's designed to be factual. It's just a
Mm.
great example. And then the transformation. Wow, Joffrey, think about nationwide, how many businesses have embraced this dilemma and changed their manufacturing. I even saw online, this is truly leadership, where I can't name the company because I don't want to do it wrong, but they gave their patent to ventilators, gave their patent on ventilators to their competitors. Think about that,
Wow.
Joffrey. What's a patent worth? Billions of dollars?
Mm. Absolutely.
That's leadership. That's real leadership. Um, and
The
I
trans the transformation that's happening for me is it's opening opportunities that I couldn't realize because I was trying to do a lot of things physically. I was involved in a men's Bible study. Uh, uh, that's probably a 45 minutes to an hour drive each way, and I had to stop doing that because I just had too many other things going. I have a Bible study in my own church that I participate in. I have uh, constant calls in my work internationally, and all of a sudden, now I have been able to reconnect with my Bible study an hour away using video conferencing. So I've reconnected with my group there because I don't have to go anywhere. I just get up, get me a cup of coffee, and sit down, and I can enjoy. In fact, this morning I enjoyed a meeting with them early before our meeting, and now I have the freedom to do more contact, more contacts with people at my own pace, at my own schedule, in my own environment. And I'm saving a lot of money.
yeah, yeah, and
Gas and
and
travel, and it's amazing.
And
So as you think about, these three steps, think about them, together. You can't be a leader and just be motivational. Especially in a crisis. You can motivate to a certain degree, but people want they want to be able to interpret what's happening to them. They want to understand uh, how things are going to change and accept the negative part. Be really good, maybe even better than before.
yeah, and I believe the new normal will be better, and I believe the new normal, as we're speaking, is becoming better, Joffrey, because you
Absolutely.
mentioned getting with your group of guys this morning. You could not have physically been with your group of guys this morning and me at the same time.
No,
You'd have to make a decision, one or
that's
the
right.
other.
That's right.
And I know the drive you're talking about because it's gas money and toll money.
That's right.
Unfortunately, at that time in the morning, you don't have to pay for parking. But if you were going
Yeah,
downtown Orlando to an event, you're going to pay $25 to park minimum.
yep, that's right. That's
Minimum.
right. So
But let's embrace this current time. In this current dilemma, there are huge opportunities. And I'm not saying we should discount the severity of this dilemma, but let's
no,
at the
sir.
same time look for the opportunities. And then if you're going to lead. And if you can't embrace the change or the transformation, then it doesn't matter what your title is, get out of the way and let someone else lead. Now, that's not a
That's
popular
right.
idea, but please do that. If
That's
you're
right.
if you're not connecting with your tribe or your audience and you're new to technology, learn it as quickly as you can, get up to speed. But in the meantime, get out of the way and let someone else lead.
Mm,
Sounds harsh, but it's our current reality. That's
that's right. And
the
our heart, our real heart is to give you hope in the middle of crisis that God's got some wonderful plans. He takes things that were meant for evil and makes them good. And if we trust Him. And I believe that a lot of that is happening even right now as people realize that we have something that is out of our control. And in many ways, part of the good of this is that I believe God personally. I believe God is getting our attention, and we're so busy doing our thing and going our way that we don't recognize that the one who created all this has a, a a purpose and can make good out of what he can make lemonade out of lemons.
right.
And he is doing that in a lot of people's lives. There is a lot of tragedy. There is a lot of sadness that is unexplainable. I don't have answers for all of those things, but I trust the one who created us and the one who does know the purpose and reason and why all this is happening.
Right. Thank you, Joffrey. And then be looking for more videos from us because one thing we really, I want to support my friends and business leaders who are struggling during this dilemma, as well as we want to support our global team. We're gathering their situation and trying to present to them the best practices for uh, the best practices to use globally, especially in Africa, as we walk through this together. So, and Joffrey, as we speak, you're gathering that information or getting most of that via messenger. But I'd
Yep.
like Joffrey, go ahead.
Go ahead. You have a question?
No. We're gathering that information and we'll be
Okay.
sharing it in this ongoing series.
Yes, yes, and I'm eager to be able to share this information with them. We have people in many people in 16 countries of Africa and growing. I have this week contacts with ministries in Bangladesh and Nepal and the Philippines. It is truly, we do truly have a global ministry and work, and we want to help those people because they're facing the same thing and maybe more difficult situations than even we are. So we're working with leaders. We want to help those leaders know how to help their people process what is happening.
Okay. And I'm going to close this in our normal, usual way, Joffrey. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you, and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor. And until we meet again, may God's peace be with you. Joffrey, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoyed being with you.